I'm not gonna lie to you, this may be my favorite Star Wars set LEGO has released in years. And there's three big reasons for that, starting with the minifigures. This is one of the best lineups of minifigures we've gotten from Star Wars, period. At the slightly insane price of $200, I would have wished for maybe one or two more. Yet the ones that we get are exceptional. Beach Luke has one of the most fun torso prints I've seen. Plus it has back printing, leg printing, and he's got freaking sweet sunglasses. What's not to like? Darth Dev, who's a character I'm unaware of. I don't know Star Wars that well, I guess. Is it Dev Patel as a Sith Lord? I have no clue, but I do love his chest printing. Then, of course, you have Darth Jar Jar, which is a little disappointing if I'm not lying. The head is always great, but all we get is single torso printing, no legs, no arms. Nothing really special, except the fact that it's an evil Darth Jar Jar. Then we have the second kind of disappointing figure, and that is Darth Rey. She has a little hood and a cape, but aside from that, it's just some torso printing and binoculars turned into lightsabers. Nothing special here either. However, the great minifigures resurge with C-3PO with dual printed legs. One is silver, one is gold, and then you have dual arms, both with printing on them, black and his normal gold. This is a pretty exceptional figure, but my personal favorite has to be Jedi Vader. I love how this figure comes together. I love the printing on the front and the back, the legs, the lightsaber, the cape. I kind of love this figure. So yes, the 6 figures are pretty good. There's a couple duds in here, and I wish maybe we would get 1 or 2 more, but these are going to be great for a long period of time. They really put their best foot forward when creating most of this lineup, and I'm pretty happy with them. Number 2 is the ship itself. It is actually a perfect balance between play and display. Of course, so many of the UCS sets that people love are simply display only. They're expensive, they're big, and they look very good on your shelf. But this ship, I actually argue, looks just as good on a shelf and is actually fun to play with as well. And for me, that is what makes LEGO special, when you can combine something that looks great and is fun to play with, that you can actually encourage people to play with. You have 5 different flaps on this ship that all open up, revealing a maybe lackluster detailed interior, but an interior that is actually rather large nonetheless. Plus, you have the cockpit that you can pop off, put a figure into, pretend like he's flying it around. You have these little laser beams that you can shoot out of the front of the vehicle, plus turrets on the top and the bottom, and a little hatch that opens to show that these characters are actually using said turrets, and your little classic dish on the top. And that's just a few of the things you can do. You have this little Sith emblem here, a little TV here, game controller, couple seats, a couple of beds. It's just some fun little interior details to make it more enjoyable to create spaces for these characters, for these minifigures. It actually allows a lot of room for you to be creative, which I actually prefer over having a highly detailed, very tight interior. You have so much space here to create fun moments with your figures. Plus, Beach Luke has a surfboard. What more could you want? And if you don't want to play with it that often, you can create a couple of scenes inside the ship or outside the ship, put it on display, and it's gonna look really good. It's actually a pretty great centerpiece display. It's large, but not overly large. So it's gonna fit on a good chunk of the shelving space in your house. Plus, that red and black color scheme is always an eye catcher for me. Now, this one's a bit tricky because the value of it on paper isn't exactly great. You're going to be spending around $200 for a ship that only has 1,570 some odd pieces. Price to part ratio isn't exactly great, but the value that you get out of this, for everything I've mentioned, is top tier in my humble opinion. You've got 3 or 4 minifigures here that are not just exceptional, they are going to be valuable once this retires, because none of these figures are ever going to come back. Maybe one here or there, I doubt it, but these figures are going to be worth something someday for anybody that wants to sit on this. Plus, this is such a fun novelty set, I can't imagine we'll see something in this exact vein again for the Millennium Falcon. So that alone, I think, creates value, even if it might be a little gimmicky. And then on top of that, as I said, it's a fun set to play with. You can pretend like you're zooming it around. It may not have the fly ability of something like the Dune Ornithopter, but hold on to this thing with 2 hands and swish it around the house, and you're gonna have a good time with it. So yes, the price to part ratio isn't exactly incredible, but man, do you get a lot of value out of this. LEGO absolutely knocked it out of the park with this set. It's basically as perfect as I could have wanted.